Yo, yo, what's going on? It's your boy, man, Mr. Caroline, coming through again with another stream. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, you don't know what's going on. Finally, and I say finally, Frank Wright has handed over the play calling duties to Thomas Brown. I'm gonna say Thomas Davis because I forgot where I was for a minute, but he has finally handed over play calling duties to Thomas Brown, who he should have done that from week one. But now it's official. Everybody's confirmed it. We now have the play caller that we should have had calling plays from the beginning. I don't know how the offense is going to look, but I'm anxious to see. Like, for real, y'all. Like, I'm anxious to see what Thomas Brown can do differently with the same set of weapons. I'm anxious to see if he gets more people involved. Like, I'm anxious to see what he's going to do with this unit because it's intriguing. We have things that we can use. We actually have a squad that is worth looking at. So, like I said, man, like I'm anxious to see what he can do. Now, I hope to be joined here from my brother here. My brother from Football Chance Gaming, my brother Jason Ingram. So, like I said, man, I'm excited. I can't wait to see what he can do. I just have a feeling it's going to be more than what I know. It's going to be more than what Frank Wright did. Like, I have no doubt. I have no doubt it's going to be more than what Frank Wright did. No questions asked, nothing. But who knows? Like, literally, who knows? But again, man, play calling duties have changed. And I guess, you're like, when you're on the hot seat, you have no choice. You have no choice. I shout out to my brother, Blitzball Champ. He said he's on the way. Can you hear me okay, though, my brother? Just let me know. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me okay. Again, that's my dude. Again, Jason. Be joining us here shortly as well. But man, like I said, yo, I'm looking forward to it all, fam. Like I'm really looking forward to it. It's boom. I appreciate that. Just doing a little mic check here, My thing is, if you watch the game on Sunday, if anybody watched the game on Sunday, again, that was my issue with it. My issue was with, again, the first 15 plays are scripted. We all know that the first 15 plays are scripted. So what Frank Wright did was he showed us that after the first 15 plays, I got nothing else for you. After my first 15 plays, I have nothing else to give you. And so we saw after the first 15, we were done. And then your first 15 plays, and then that's the part. Like, we actually showed that we can actually run the ball. And that's the part that I'm like, fam, if you are showing that we can actually run the ball, if we're showing that we can actually be productive, then why not do that? Run the ball. Like, and that's the part that that killed me a little bit when we made this change. Steve Wilkes, and I know most people don't want to hear about it. Steve Wilkes showed y'all, hey, you know what? We may not have the best tackles right now for pass blocking. Icky was young. He still is young. His strength really, for the most part, is not pass blocking. It's run blocking. He was one of the best run blockers, if not the best, at coming out of college football. Played to that strength. Run block. He's a grader. He wants to put people on their butt and keep it pushing. So why not play to that strength? Why not say, hey, okay, this is what I do. I'm going to run you over, and I'm going to keep it pushing. So we don't do that. We get away from that for some reason. We say, you know what, first 15 plays in, all right, we got him out the way. And then it was the mismanagement of the play clock. Again, that's the part to me that was super, super irritating. It was the mismanagement of the play clock at the end of the first half. It was the fact that we had 3 timeouts and we settled for a field goal and we missed it. It's like, do you realize who you're playing? Do you realize you're playing one of the most, if not the most explosive offense in the National Football League? And you're going to settle for a field goal. And again, they were literally playing a zone coverage. For the most part, they were playing a zone coverage. So why in God's green earth would you start to throw the ball? Why would you do that? To me, it made no sense. To anybody with football knowledge, that series of events made no sense. And then on 3rd and 2, you throw a screen pass. You throw a screen pass to DJ Chark, and then you throw a bomb to Hayden Hurst, who hadn't caught a pass all game. It's the mismanagement of the talent you have on your team. It's the fact that you're not using these players to the best of their ability. And I can't stand the talk that, they have no weapons. Correct me if I'm wrong. Which I know I'm not. DJ Chark, before he came over here, was a weapon in Jacksonville when he was on the field. He had a good game when he played in Detroit last year. He had a good game against us in Detroit when they came to Carolina. He was a weapon for Detroit. But all of a sudden he comes here and DJ Chark is no longer a weapon. Make that make sense. Adam Thielen has been a weapon. Ask Kirk Cousins and ask Teddy Bridges. He's been a weapon for them when he was in Minnesota. But all of a sudden he comes here, he's no longer a weapon. Make that make sense. Hayden Hurst, weapon with Cincinnati when he was on the field, and Baltimore. Look at the production of the Cincinnati Bengals tight ends. They put up a stat. If you go to Bleacher Report, shout out to Bleacher Report. If you go to Bleacher Report, look at the stats of their tight ends. Tell me they're not missing Hayden Hurst, who had 19 catches and I believe it was a couple touchdowns and almost 400 or 500 yards in the first 6 games with Joe Burrow as quarterback in Cincinnati. Weapon. Can catch the ball. Gets yak. But we're not using them here. Why? Because Frank Reich's offense was predicated around one receiver, Adam Thielen. His game plan from the fact, all right, brother, I'll see you in a minute. His game plan was garnered around the fact that I have to get the ball to Adam Thielen. Look at the disparity in the targets for Sunday. Now, Adam Thielen is a monster. Don't get me wrong. Take nothing away from my dude. Not a single thing. But if you're looking at it, Adam Thielen had 11 catches. 11. The next nearest receiver only had 3. And that was DJ Chark. Jonathan Mingo had 2. This is stuff I be talking about, fam. Make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? You have a receiver that has 11 catches One only has 3. But these are your guys, though, right? Like these are your guys. These are the people you want us to believe in, correct? These are the people that were like, okay, well, this is who we rocking with. Again, that's the part that I'm like, I'm not understanding. I'm really, really not understanding. We're supposed to be this one quarterback away team because that's what they sold us. You know, that's what they told us. Hey, we are.
Hey.
What's going on, fam? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Gucci. Can you still hear me through my chat?
Yeah.
All right, Gucci. Hey, shout out to my brother, Blitzball Champ. He's on the stream. I'm on his stream. Go follow my brother. Matter of fact, go ahead and introduce your channel for my brother.
Oh, absolutely. So this is Blitzball Champ, which is all one word, capital B, capital C, on YouTube. Also known as Blitzball Champ Gaming as well. Yeah, that's where you can find me. Check me out. Give a like, subscribe if you enjoy what you see.
Absolutely, and you better like, share, subscribe. We're trying to grow these channels up. But I was telling them about the changing of the guard. We have gone from Frank Wright to Thomas Brown.
It has happened.
Finally.
Handing over the clipboard.
Finally. It only took you 6 games. It only took you 6 games to realize this ain't for me. This ain't it. Why did we have to go 0-6 before he realized my play calling is hot track? And it's funny because somebody brought this up, and I want your thoughts on this as well. The second half of the season is set up for Thomas Brown to succeed. So, if he does, and I pray to God if he does, it's going to prove 2 things. It's going to save Frank Wright as a coach.
Right.
And it's going to prove how much of an idiot he was. Because you waited 6 games to hand over the reins to somebody that was better adept at play calling than you were. Your thoughts?
So, I did get a chance to watch the press conference, to get caught up. And what I found really, really odd was, first of all, I want to say yes, this is great for Thomas Brown to finally get a chance to do what I figured we all thought he was brought over here in the first place to do.
Yes.
Especially considering he came from the Los Angeles Rams, where he has been a part of the coaching staff, offensive coordinator, position coach as well, and also has a Super Bowl working under Sean McVay. And not to mention, I believe he was also there. Wasn't he also there the first time they went to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff?
He was.
So he's been to the big dance twice.
And been a big part of it.
Yeah. So I think it's crazy that it took Frank Wright eating 6 losses to finally say, "Oh, what I'm doing's not working." Okay, you can try.
Your turn.
And then had nerve enough to say, "Oh, I really like what he brings to the staff.
He's a stud. He's a stud.
He's a stud." And I'm just like, I mean, I wouldn't really know. You didn't really, allow him to do his job.
He didn't do much there. Their good buddy kind of was collecting dust and just. We talk up now. Do you believe that they would? I mean, of course, you're going to talk with your offensive coordinator, but do you fully believe that they would? He had much input into the play calling that wouldn't happen on Sundays, or would it? What percentage would you give his play calling attributes to Sunday's games?
That's a good question. It makes me wonder how much of it is, did he hear input versus did he hear and receive input?
Good point.
Now, I want to say, sure, he probably did have some input to Frank Wright.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think any of it is received? Doubt it. I think probably like a slim to none chance.
I'll take none because Slim ain't looking too healthy.
Fair enough.
Slim ain't looking too healthy. Question, and I want to get your. I know we talk about it sometimes. I want to get this question as well. Now you hear folks say we don't have weapons, and we keep hearing that, and we keep hearing that. But to this point, before DJ Chark got here, do you remember the game last year where he was cooking us with the Detroit Lions because they utilized him as his speed? Because he was cooking Dante. I don't know if I think JC played that game. I'm not that well. He's been hurt so much. I don't know if he played that game either. But he was cooking us then, and he was an integral part to Detroit's success last year in the receiving corps. Much to the point that Detroit didn't really not want to let him go, but he came over here for a bigger role. So it baffles me when I hear people say Bryce Young doesn't have weapons. Now, to that point, that's point one. Point two, Adam Thielen has been a weapon in Minnesota for years before he got here. So why all of a sudden is he not now a weapon when he puts on that Panthers uniform, but yet he's the only weapon we have? Point number three. Hayden Hurst was a weapon with Joe Burrow as his quarterback in Cincinnati before he got in. They put a stat up. Y'all go to Bleacher Report. They put up a stats. Hayden Hurst had almost 20 catches through 6 games. I believe it was almost 300 or 400 yards receiving and a couple of touchdowns in 6 games in Cincinnati. He comes here. All of a sudden, he's not a weapon. Terrace Marshall, again, I'm going to beat this drum because we talked about it the other day, was a weapon going down the stretch last year with Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield and P.J. Walker throwing him the ball.
17.5 yards average per catch.
All of a sudden, the Panthers have no weapons. My brother, please make it make sense. If these guys were weapons before they got here, all of a sudden they get to Carolina and they're no longer weapons. Why is that?
So I'm gonna put it to everybody like this. I think as a whole, we need to stop underestimating the value and impact of coaching and play calling, whether it's good or bad. Case in point, the weapons that we have, they have been successful elsewhere. They have shined elsewhere. I mean, a couple of them even played in the Super Bowl within the last year or two. You know, Miles Sanders, example. Hayden Hurst, example. You know, and they put up incredible stats. I mean, Miles Sanders had his best year in his career last season. And going back to your point, Mr. Carolina, calling up plays to the success of the players' abilities. Let me point something out. Let's use Carolina 2015, for example. That season, we had the number 1 ranked offense with some low, no-name receivers. And guess what? Not a single one of those receivers were Pro Bowlers. As a matter of fact, if I remember correctly, the only offensive Pro Bowler that we had that season, I believe it was Cam Newton
Mike
and it was
Tolbert.
great. Mike Tolbert, but in the receiving core,
Oh, Greg Olson.
Greg Olson. We
That
didn't we
was
didn't
it.
even have we didn't even have a wide receiver in the Pro Bowl that year. But guess what? And we didn't even have a true number one receiver because the one that we had got injured in practice. Kelvin Benjamin, who remember came in rookie year, put up 1,000 yards. Now, oh yeah, we had offensive coordinator Mike Shula, who called plays to the strengths of the players, which is why we got to see Ted Ginn Jr.
Flourish.
as a deep threat. That's how we got to see Corey Brown, Philly Brown, as a deep threat. Jericho Cottrey was our possession man. Brenton Burson had excellent hands. So what did they do? They fed him the ball, especially when it came to third down situations where we were thin a few of those games at wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, they're not Pro Bowlers.
Not a one. Not a one.
As a matter of fact, okay, I won't just use our team as an example. Look at the Super Bowl Kansas City Chiefs last year. If you look at that same starting lineup that was in the Super Bowl, at least on defense, at least half of those guys on that starting defense were rookies. Rookies. And yet, this team won the Super Bowl entering into the playoffs with a 14-3 record, where they had a handful of starters on defense that are rookies.
Make it make sense. Preach to them. Make it make sense.
Coaching matters, y'all.
Really
And
does.
it makes such an impact more than we may think. I understand there's certain things that can't be coached. I get that. But we have to remember, and I emphasize this is not Madden. You cannot expect plug and play and bam, it just works like that.
No.
It doesn't work like that. Why do you think people talk about, these certain players flourished in this system, under this coaching style, under this play style, and then they go elsewhere and they're not utilized? Going back to Terrace Marshall Jr. Last game, only targeted 3 times. Previous game, wasn't even put in. The game before that had set the highest number of catches for the receiver in that game at 9 for 56 yards. And we're talking about somebody that for a whole season averaged 17.5 yards a catch.
But he can't get open. He can't create separation.
Like, we have to come to the conclusion and have to see the impact, whether positive or negative, that coaching can be.
Mm-hmm. Frank Wright is not that dude. Frank Wright has proven that he doesn't know how to put his players in position to be successful. Frank Wright, to me, has been crippling Bryce Young's career. He has been holding this young man back from being successful. And if you look at some of his throws, and again, I can own up to it. I was not pro Bryce Young at first. I wasn't. I thought he was too small. I thought he was going to crush. It wasn't going to work. Bryce Young, I will eat my crow. You have grown every game. And I was proud of the brother because there was no turnover last game. No fumbles, no interceptions. And that boy, he can take a hit. I give him that. He can take a hit because offensive line is still a patchwork. Now, hopefully after this bye week, we get Austin Corbett back, which will shore up that right-hand side because him and Moton have a chemistry. Bozeman, that right side will be solidified because Corbin will fix a lot of mistakes that Bozeman doesn't make up, and Moten does. That's what having a good guard can do. And watch how better Bryce Young feels in the pocket because now he won't have that ultimate rush in his face as Corbin came from over from the Rams, same as Thomas Brown, and was a Pro Bowl type guard. That's why we brought him here. Watch how much more comfortable. Now we still have to shore up the left guard position because Bray Christensen went down. And Cade Mays, you didn't hear much about him giving up sacks, so I know he was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, so I have hope for him as well. But watch how much better the team plays coming out of the bye. And then, as an added incentive, did you know that our current offensive coordinator also interviewed for the Houston Texans job?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So, interviewed. Of course, they went with the brother over there, D'Amico Ryan. Shout out to him, doing a fantastic job in Houston. Doing a fantastic. But you know what that also is? To that point, did you know that C.J. Stroud went over 177 snaps without a single sack? 177 snaps without a grip. They hadn't given up a sack since week 2. Again, this was the same offensive line, y'all, that was getting crushed in the preseason.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Crushed. But they made adjustments to play to their offensive line strengths. That is called good coaching. If I know you guys are not the best at a certain blocking scheme, I'm going to switch things up to make you guys look better. Frank Wright did not do that. Now, again, I don't regret not getting C.J. Stroud because I like Bryce Young. I think he's going to be our quarterback for many, many years to come. So I wish I brother nothing but health and success.
Right.
But you have to call a game plan that fits the strength of your team. If DJ Chark is a burn, and again, I'm not saying Bryce Young is completely innocent in that one, because if you look at that game, there have been throws this year. He's making rookie throws. He's going to miss passes. That one deep ball to DJ Chark that he missed on the left-hand side, if he hits that one, DJ Chark walks into the end zone. Because he had the cornerback beat. But again, he's a rookie, so you expect these type of throws. So I expect him to settle down as the season goes along, and especially now that he knows an offensive coordinator is going to believe in him, unlike his head coach did. But now, watch how much this team flourishes with somebody that can get into a rhythm of play calling, that knows what they're doing because they learned from one of the brightest minds, the youngest brightest mind that is with a modern football game. Sean McVay is one of the brightest football minds in football, and nobody can debate that one. His team, if you look at the Rams, do not have a true besides when Cooper Kupp was hurt, they didn't have a true number one, but that offense was still flourishing.
Yep.
The offense was still doing good. I know that, I jokingly, because my youngest son is a Rams fan. He's a sometime Panthers fan, but he says we suck, so he said he'll come back when we start playing better. I don't blame him. But they actually look good. So you have somebody that learned under that man. Why not let him call play? Let Thomas Brown cook. Let him play more. And then, Jay, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm wrong. But to me, and I'm not hating on him, because I love what he's brought to the team. It seems like Frank Wright designed his offense around Adam Thielen.
It's looking that way.
I'm not trying to be a hater. Again, y'all, I'm not being a hater. I'm just keeping it real. Because majority of Bryce Young passes go to Adam Thielen. And it's not because he's always open. It's because he designed this offense to go around Miles Sanders and Adam Thielen. Everybody else, you can get your sprinkles of plays here within and there. But again, Adam Thielen is the most open because he's playing in a position where he can get the most open. It's in the slot because he's going against linebackers that either can't keep up with him or your third or fourth string corner in the slot. That is why he is cooking them, and I'm thanking God that he is. But in that same retrospect, Hayden Hurst is going against what? A linebacker? or a slot corner that can't is not big enough to really guard him. So why not use him more than what we are? Again, that's my issue. That's one of my biggest issues with Frank Wright. He
Yeah.
doesn't. He's not putting these guys in position to be successful. Just to your point earlier.
And not only that, you notice it's ironic. Already Thielen is at the half-century mark, and the other receivers are still under 200 yards receiving.
It's that's what I'm saying. That feeds into my point. That feeds into my point. You designed your offense around Adam Thielen as your number one receiver. And all due respect to Adam Thielen, at this point in his career, he should not be your number one receiver. He can be a great receiver, and he still is.
Right.
But you have the number ones. And I know he had injuries in training camp, but the number one, I say handed, but the number one position we all thought, and I know I did, was supposed to go to Terrace Marshall because that's what they were telling us. Now, yes, you brought in DJ Chark, burner. You brought in Adam Thielen, possession. You
We drafted
draft
Mingo.
possession. So he's not a burner. But I'm not saying my dude is slow, but for the most part, like you brought these guys in to do certain things, and you're not allowing the groceries to, I'm not gonna say cook, but you're not allowing the groceries to do what they're supposed to do because it's like, you ever heard this saying, and my wife says it sometimes, you never go into a grocery store hungry.
Right. Right.
Frank Wright came to this grocery store hungry, and so he just started grabbing and grabbing like he didn't know what to do with himself. And so when he found his favorite snack, Adam Thielen, he just kept saying, "Okay, I see what I want here," not realize you had other groceries in the cart. So when the national media, who let's be real here, doesn't really pay attention to us. Nobody really pays. Charlotte's a small market. Nobody's really paying attention. So they're going off of what they think our team is doing, or they're going off of highlights. These guys we brought into the offseason that everybody was hyping, and all of a sudden they're no longer weapons because they're not being utilized to their strengths. To your point, that 2015 team, there's not one Pro Bowler in that wide receiving core that somebody can say, "Oh, they were a Pro Bowler." No, they weren't.
No, they weren't.
They were put in positions to be successful. To your point, from Ted Ginn to Jericho Cotchery to Philly Brown to Britton Burson, we had bunches of functions on that team as well.
Yep.
We had Mr. Reliable. We had Ed Dixon, and let's not forget, y'all. That's the team. If we want to talk about offensive lines, that's the team that had Mike Rimmers at right tackle. Let that sink in.
Yep.
That's the team that had Michael Orr, as good as he was. Remember, he was cast off from Baltimore as well. He was playing left tackle. The only surefire lineman we had on that team, in all honesty, was Khalil.
Oh yeah.
That was it. Because he was a steadfast center. Flat out. He was a stud.
I do have to give some to Norwell as well because he was
on that team. My fault. Correct me. Thank you, sir. Andrew Norwell. Trey Turner was on that team too. I like Trey.
3-time Pro Bowler.
Trey was on that team. So, but you see what I mean? Like when you have that consistency up the middle, Norwell, Khalil, Trey. So Cam, for the most part, didn't have to really worry about pressure up the middle. So he could sit back there for the most part, besides the fact that he's 6'6" and has a rocket for an arm.
Right.
Cam could do that. But again, to your point as well, and to the point we keep trying to make, the offense was designed around these players to be successful.
And you have to also keep in mind, he did kind of have a safety blanket on the offensive line when it came to protection check, because he would usually call it out, and then anything that was missed, Khalil would reconfirm.
Indeed. But that's why we made him a beast. That's why I said you had a stud center that was doing that. Now, Bozeman, we just resigned to, I believe, another 3-year extension.
Yeah, he's going to be here for a while.
I believe he can be that guy. Like I was happy when we finally put him in.
Hmm.
I have faith in Bradley Bozeman. I have faith in this offensive line. But again, my brother Thomas Brown, you got my last name. Please, if you learn nothing from Frank Wright's failures, this offensive line has showed last game that they enjoy run blocking. They can do it because you know what? It helps them pass block that much better because it puts the defense on their heels. And also, I want to point this out to y'all as well. Do you know why our receivers are sometimes having trouble getting separation? Because they know we can't run the ball. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press up on your receivers.
Good point.
You can't run. I don't fear you. Then if I do, I can play a different type of coverage because I know you guys are not going to run the ball like talking about because your coach doesn't believe in really running the ball. So I do respect you so I can stack the box a little bit more or I can play back coverage because I'm telling you guys right now, y'all not going to block my front six. You're not going to block my defensive ends, my tackles, and my linebackers because you don't believe in it. You're going to try to sling the ball. And if you do, you know what they're going to do? We're going to throw these dink and dunk passes to the left and the right. That's what you guys are going to do. Again, Frank Reich's 3rd and 2 pass before the half ended showed me again who he was as a coach.
Oh, yeah. The nasty screen.
My brother Jay sent me a funny text, but I had to laugh. We were sitting here talking about bad clock management. It's 3rd and 2. You had 3 timeouts. And then 4th and 1. And you throw a bomb to Hayden Hurst, who hadn't called a pass the entire first half. We were having success running the ball. Run the ball. And then you still have 2 timeouts left. You can't take them with you. Use them. He doesn't. And again, this is the incompetence of a head coach that got fired 2 months before he got hired here. Go look at the Indianapolis Colts chat rooms. They're laughing at us.
Yeah.
They said,
I believe it.
They said, you actually hired this guy? He got your owner to actually hire him? And again, somebody put some on Instagram, and I don't remember. It was one of the Panther pages that I follow. And I'm going to call it what it is. It's the way, if you ever get a chance, Jay, take a look. I'm trying to send it to you.
Okay, sure thing.
If you look at the way the team rallied around Steve Wilkes, and I know the ship has sailed, but if you look at the way these gentlemen spoke, if you look at the way Shaq spoke about him, if you look at the way they rallied around him, but then you look at that, somebody put it, not my comment, not what I said, I may feel it. Somebody said, if you look at this snake in the grass of an owner, when he gave Steve Wilkes that game ball, this one's for you, brothers, what he says. Mm-hmm. And he has the team, you can see the camaraderie of the team rallying around that, and everybody's excited that Steve Wilkes is getting this game ball because he cares about them as players. He cares about them as men. He motivated them as men and players, and he believed in them. They had, I believe his word, he said, we have an identity. If you look at his first ones that he said we talked about establishing our identity.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. They had an identity under Steve Wilkes. We talked about this the other day. We have no identity under Frank Wright. Just no identity. So my prayer, Thomas Brown, brings out the identity of this football team after the bye weeks. Your thoughts?
So, for sure, we're definitely going to see a change. Like, this is just step one. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm hoping, because like I said, Thomas Brown has worked under Sean McVay. Mm-hmm. I mean, for crying out loud, they're the same age.
I did not know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're both 37. Yeah.
Younger than me. Didn't know that.
Uh, my thing for Thomas Brown: be yourself,
Hmm.
be firm.
That
Now,
part.
Frank Wright is the head coach. Okay, sure, but be firm. He's turning the clipboard fully to you. I mean, I'm sure there might be a point where you might ask, like, for a little encouragement or whatnot. If that's the case, so be it. But be you. Be firm in your decisions,
Hmm.
and I believe that he'll feed the hot hand and that he'll build on the successes of the right play calls in order to create momentum. Because, just like a reminder to everybody, we have to remember where this guy came from. This guy has been under success, has been a part of a successful coaching staff that has been to the big dance at least twice
And won
and won one of them.
recently.
Yeah. I mean, we thought, I'm sure there were some that thought after Megatron, left, called it quits, that we may not see, Matthew Stafford really get back to that level. But then once he came to the Rams,
Solid life.
woo wee. Y'all want to talk about the seasons he's had with Megatron? The season he's had with the Rams?
Cooper Cup.
He was balling.
Cooper
Shoot,
Cup.
it was so good. Even Odell Beckham had to come over and get some of that.
He said, "Oh, we winning over here. Okay, you spreading the ball around over here. Oh, okay."
I mean, Odell, Cooper Cup, Van Jefferson,
Robert
like
Woods.
Robert Woods, spreading the ball out.
Putting the ball in the hot hand. That's what makes you a good OC. Calling a proficient game plan so we're not down second and long or third and long every other drive. That we're not starting out the game with a 3 and out. That's why I said y'all realize we went up 14-0. We were up 14-0, and they rattled off 35 unanswered points. 35.
Yep.
So I don't care about the garbage pick six against a back quarterback that will never probably see the field a game in his life, unless Tua gets hurt. You gotta, it's like garbage points in the fourth quarter of a blowout basketball game. Nobody cares because you didn't do it against the starters. We got a trash pick six against a backup quarterback. Besides that, we were 35 skunk, and then the backup scored a touchdown on us running the ball. So we couldn't even
Yep.
stop the backup running back from scoring. What? Besides the play call on the offense, I don't know what's going on. Don't bother trading for a wide receiver because it's not necessary. And I know, but you can't. Don't y'all can debate me on that all day. Fix the run defense.
Oh yeah, very critical.
Fix
Very
it.
critical.
Fix, and again, with Austin Corbett coming back, and I know Brady Christian's going to come back, Chandler Zavala, I know they're young, so if you need to plug in for the guard spot, find it, because your right side is now solidified with Corbett coming back, hopefully after the bye week.
Yeah,
Fix
that's
your
what I'm
run.
hoping.
You and me both. Fix your run defense. Bring in a linebacker that can actually fill the gaps and make a tackle. You know how many missed tackles we missed on Sunday?
Way too many.
It's pathetic. It looks bad. Bring in a linebacker that is actually going to hit somebody and wrap up. Because again, as much as people trashed on Shaq Thompson, Shaq actually made tackles. He actually would lower the boom on people. Now, he had his fair share of missed ones. I'm not going to say the man was Luke Kuechly. But you realize, you see now how much his presence is missed on that defense. That's what a leader does. Yes, I'm saying you can't trash the man now. Oh, it was Shaq Thompson's fault. Whose fault is it now? Linebackers out of play. Louisville can't be everywhere. And even Louisville has his right. They all Gruger Hill. Oh, he's a step up from Shaq. No, he's not. He was just the cutest thing on the shelf because you didn't get to see him really play here.
Yeah, he's definitely not there yet. He's done some things, but he's definitely not
Oh
there
yeah,
yet.
he's done some things, but there's a reason he's been a journeyman. That he hasn't stuck with one team. There's a
Right.
reason. There's a reason that we didn't bring him in here as a starter.
Right.
He was brought in here to be a backup. So it's like the backup quarterback. Everybody wants the backup quarterback until you see the backup quarterback play. It was like, damn, that's why you were a backup.
Yeah.
You give us splashy plays, but there's a reason you're not. You're holding the clipboard and you're not actually on the field. Now, with that being said, the brother has all my support because, again, I want to see this franchise like you do, and like I know Real Panthers. We want to see this franchise flourish. We want to come out and do better. Do I wish it was under a different head coach? I'm not going to sugarcoat that one. Absolutely. Do I think Frank Wright should be out of here? Absolutely. But, brother, I'm going to save that for Thursday's show. Because, Corey, I know you're probably going to listen. Jay told me.
Oh yeah.
We're going to have a real fun debate come Thursday.
Yeah, the Scott Fitterer featured live stream.
Tune in for that. Tune in for that one. And
Yeah.
we're going to look here, y'all. We're all brothers here. We're going to keep it friendly.
Right.
But you already know how I feel.
Yeah. We gon' debate in good faith, but we're gonna let it out. We're definitely gonna let it out.
Because look, that's the only good thing coming about Sunday. We can't lose because there's nobody. We're not playing nobody. We're not playing anybody. But Scott Fitterer has to be held accountable for the roster. Let me stop. Thursday.
Oh,
Because-
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, because everybody in that front office has to be held accountable because it's a joke. It is a literal joke. Go ahead.
Got a comment. Damian Hernandez, welcome to the stream.
What's going on, bro?
He says, "Hey, sorry for Panthers having a tough time, but as a Bears fan, I'm a little bit happy. Just keep losing so we can get a higher pick. LOL. Oh, and thanks for DJ. Really appreciate it. We'll see y'all week 10. We'll see y'all week 10.
You had to throw that in there. Okay.
But nah, I'm just glad to see DJ break out for y'all, which wasn't really a surprise. I mean, it's DJ Moore. I mean,
Still got his jersey in my closet.
yeah. So he's the yak man. But we'll see y'all. We'll see y'all week 10. We'll see y'all week 10.
And I'm afraid to say it, but I know it's going to happen. The last Panthers number one wide receiver that we let go, when we played him again, cooked us.
Oh man,
We all know his name. Agent 89. And he told you to make sure you mowed his lawn, that he'll be back in Charlotte soon. Cooked you because you thought he was done. He wasn't done. We gave up on DJ. Like y'all realize, and I want y'all to understand something. We're not gonna keep y'all on here long, but I want y'all to understand something. The weapons that we let go, and I want y'all to keep account of this here. I want y'all to follow me. DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, Christian McCaffrey. Let that sink into your soul for a minute. DJ Moore has more touchdowns than any of our receivers on our team. Probably has more touchdowns than any of our receivers put together. Christian McCaffrey has more touchdowns than our entire team put together, but more than our weapons put together. Christian McCaffrey, our favorite CMC, run 22 run. Curtis Samuel. He's doing something, but not much with the Commanders. But if you imagine Bryce Young with those three, or with a Hayden, if you just brought over Adam Thielen and Hayden Hurst, are you?
Oh, Damien says, "Hey, to be fair, we are not looking good either. So, hey, y'all have a win. Y'all have something we don't have right now.
Oh
Y'all have a
man,
victory."
y'all have a coach that said, "Let me get out of my way. Let me," and that's that. I respect that about your coach because he noticed how Justin Field was struggling the first couple games. So he said, "Let me put him in a position to be successful." I respect that about your coach because Justin Fields, before this thumb injury, was starting to come along. He was finding his rhythm. He said, "Okay, this is what I do well." Coach said, "That's what you do well. Cool. Let's put you in a position to be successful." Hey, you have a guy over here that's actually a number one receiver. Why some people thought here that DJ Moore wasn't a number one receiver kills me.
Oh
Because
yeah.
he really is. But y'all have something. Again, we have our quarterback of the future.
Yeah.
I'm all in on Bryce Young. Thomas Brown, don't let me down.
And Damien, now that you're here, and I've said I talked a lot of junk about Justin Fields. I think ultimately, I think he'll be fine if he can lessen the interceptions.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
I think that's the only thing. The dude has an arm. The
Cannon.
dude can run as well. I mean, after all, he had 1,000 yards rushing last season.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
just think if he can just limit and lessen the picks,
Hmm.
I mean, maybe at some point he might get into the MVP discussion. He says Luke Getsy got to go ASAP. Oh, on the Bears.
Right. I mean, we'll trade you Frank Wright for him. We'll throw in $1,000 signing bonus as well.
Yeah, give him a little bit extra money
We'll give you something.
so he can relocate.
We'll give you was it David Tepper as well? I'll give you David Tepper and a bag of Skittles.
Oh, okay. Taste the rainbow.
Get him
There
out
you
of
go.
here.
Taste the rainbow.
Get him out of here. Look, I'm all for it, man. Like I know we joke and we laugh, but since David Tepper has taken over this franchise, we've been a joke. We have been a literal joke. Now I know Mr. Richardson had his issues with. Again, this is not the time to get into that.
Right.
But we were a competent team under Mr. Richardson. We had a direction. We knew who we were, and he stayed. Mr. Richardson stayed out of the way. You didn't see him mingling. You didn't see him interfering. He let his GMs do their job. Now you would see him on the field, like during training camp or something like that, but he wasn't. Him and his, I don't know if he. I think he was married. You didn't see him and his wife hugging the players. You didn't see him all up in everybody's faces. You didn't see him you didn't see that.
Mm-hmm.
He let his personnel do their job. David Tepper, get out of the way. Nobody's here for you. Nobody's here for your wife that likes to hug all the players. We see you. We're not here for that. It's cute. We're not here for you. So if y'all wanted this lame duck coach, let him coach. But I'm pretty sure that meeting that went down today or yesterday was a real intense one. Saying if you don't get your ass out the way, and if you don't turn this around, I'm pretty sure, and y'all may call me crazy, I'm pretty sure they said if you don't turn this around, we're gonna fire your ass. Because we're not going through another Matt Rule type campaign. Because he damn sure David Tepper, no, he almost damn near lost his fan base.
That is very true. Very, very true.
You damn near lost us, bro. With that Matt Rule crap, we was about to be up out of here. We're not coming to the games, none of that.
Damien says Carolina should have never let Ron Rivera go. In my opinion, that was a stupid decision. That was our Last coach of the year.
We shouldn't have let Ron Rivera go. We shouldn't have let Steve Wilkes go.
Yeah.
It's the ineptitude of this front office to make sound decisions that benefit not only this team, but benefit your fan base. Like we keep talking about, what better story can you have than a man that was from the area, coached on the team during our prime years, is respected in the locker room as a leader of men. What more of a feel-good story could you have, David Tepper? What more did you want? Oh, you wanted the white collar fairy tale. You wanted somebody that you could take to the golf club fairy tale. He threw the first pass fairy tale. He was 0-3 fairy tale. Less than 45% passing percentage fairy tale. That's the fairy tale you wanted? Because you can relate to Frank Wright? I'm going to keep beating that drum. Now, most folks may not like it. I'm going to beat that drum. He looked like you. So it was comfortable that you could bring him into the team meetings. It's comfortable to take him to the country club. It wouldn't have been very comfortable to take Steve Wilkes to the country club, would it?
Not at all.
You would have had some explaining to do. Why is he here? He doesn't look like us. Get him out of here.
And this makes me pose this question. So let's say there's the possibility that things don't change. We still get worse and worse. Do you believe this would mean that instead of Frank Wright getting let go, that Thomas Brown would get the axe instead? Do you think that's a possibility?
Not if David Tepper wants to keep this fan base. Not if you want to keep this fan base. And I'll tell you right now, I'll petition to get you and your wife and your family out of here. I'll petition that. You talking about, and I said respect to the PNP podcast, some guys over there, you talking about march on a minute? I'm a march on it. Because that is just, and I'm going to say, call it what it is, that's blatant racism. That's blatant racism. If you are serious, if this doesn't turn around and you fire the offensive coordinator and not the man that looks to an 0-6 record, you know what you're doing? You're repeating history.
Yep.
You're repeating last year's history because you fired. I'm gonna put this politically correct. I know I don't want YouTube to flag us. You fired the coach that looked like you because you said remember his words? Oh, he reminds me of myself.
Sure did.
Your words, not mine. Your words. You fired him. You gave the minority coach the interim title, finished out the season strong, but then you hired the next guy that looks like you 2 months later. So if you do that again and we turn this around, or he doesn't turn this around, this is not on Thomas Brown, because even if he does, guess who's going to be the next hot head coach candidate after this year? Thomas Brown. And he's not going to come from that. They're not going to say he came from the Frank Wright coaching tree. He came from the Sean McVay coaching tree.
Sure did. Facts.
That's where he came from. It wasn't you. It was somebody else. So, with that being said, I love my Panthers. Thomas Brown, I pray God, my brother, that you come out with a game plan and you show how much of a moron our head coach is. And that I hope in proving that, I never wish nobody to be fired. I never wish that to be fired. Never want that to happen. But I hope you come out and you show not only the owner, but the fan base, how much of a moron that Indy knew, how much of a moron Frank Wright was, how much we know how much of a moron Frank Wright is. You're a man of God, me too. I believe in the Lord just like you do. But it has nothing to do with you coaching this football team in the direction they should be going in.
Agreed. I'll add to that by saying this. We start winning games, If that translates to Frank Reich keeping his job, it is what it is. But you better not dare touch that clipboard again.
No. Not unless it falls down, you got to pick it up.
Yeah, if you got to pick it up and hand it back to Thomas Brown, so be it. But if we are thriving under this man, doing the job that he was hired to do in the first place, but didn't get a chance to until now, if this is successful, you better not dare take that clipboard away from him.
I'll backhand you myself.
I don't care if you're the senior multi-general, general head coach of all over the staff. I don't care.
No.
You better not dare take that clipboard from them.
You know what's going to happen, Mr. Wright? And I'm going to end with this one right here. You know what's going to happen? If y'all ever seen the movie Tombstone, ever watched the movie Tombstone, watch Scott Ike when he went to the bar. He said, sometimes you got to rap a beat, get some respect around here. You're going to get your beat rap. I'm going to rap your beat. If you touch that clipboard. If Thomas Brown is thriving, go watch Tombstone. Go watch Ike. When he rapped that bartender's beat. Say, see? Get somebody to rap.
Or if you want to be productive, take notes.
Sit there and be like, oh, this is how this is done. Oh, that's what the rhythm is. Oh, you can catch Hayden Hurst. Oh my God. Terrence Marshall, you can catch. Oh, Jesus Christ, we can run block. Take notes. Because Frank Reich, if you lose this, and again, it sounds like, and I was trying to say that this earlier, it sounds like you have lost the locker room. So at least some players in that locker room do not believe in you. Because if I believe in my coach, even towards the end of the season, when the boys knew, like, when they felt like they didn't have nothing to fight for, when Steve Wilkes took over, you saw the team get energized because they believed in their captain. They believed in the leader. And they said, you know what? Everybody gave up on us, but this guy still believes in us. So we're going to fight for him. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to fight.
Agreed. Damien says, hey, look at the bright side. Frank will probably get fired after this season, and y'all could get Belichick if Pat's cut him. I don't care if that dude has 1,000,000 championships. That's a crooked coach. No thanks. I'll pass.
No, I'll pass on the play game.
Cheshire Cat says, how can David Tepper give Matt Rule all the power to get his players who he doesn't deserve any of it, but finally has an experienced head coach? Frank Reich won't get his quarterback. That's a good question. That is a good question, because when you think about it, word is Frank Reich wanted Derek Carr. Supposedly wanted Derek Carr.
But Derek Carr didn't want to come here.
Didn't want to come here.
You want to know why? And I'll tell you why he didn't want to come here. And y'all may hate me for it. He didn't want to play for Frank Reich.
Hey, I wouldn't doubt that.
I mean,
would not doubt that.
Look what he did in Indy. Look what he did in Indy. He didn't do much with the quarterback. He had at least 2 or 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks in Indy. Phillip Rivers. He had Matt Ryan. Even Matt Ryan with the Falcons fans. I hated him, but he was a hell of a quarterback. And he had Angelo towards the end of his career. If Angelo would have kept playing, Carson Wentz. He didn't do nothing with those quarterbacks. So, no, I don't believe in Frank Reich. I'm sorry, I don't. I haven't and I won't. So until he proves me wrong, I'm not going to believe in him. And then you've shown me who you are. You were 0-9 since coming to Carolina. As much as I hated Matt Rule, Matt Rule wasn't 0-9 when he came. Now he only won no more than 5 games. But we didn't start the season out this bad. We started the season out bad. Terribly bad. So you're okay, so to that point, and again, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up too, because I know we both gotta go in the morning.
Yeah.
You are an experienced head coach, right? You're this offensive mind that everybody was clamoring for. There should be no reason that your offense looks this bad, even with a rookie quarterback. there should be no reason because you should be able to game plan and adjust. There have been no adjustments to your personnel. There have been no adjustments to your game plan. And I know people going to say to me because it's two different scenarios, two different teams. Houston hired a defensive coordinator as their head coach, but their team is thriving. I'm just saying, you're an offensive-minded coach. Who is this quarterback guru, right? That's what the people said. Frank Reich's a quarterback guru. Who you guruing?
Not a single person.
Not a person. You're not guruing anybody because nobody here believes in you. You had all them quarterbacks in Indy. He won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. That wasn't his team. He didn't build that team. All he had to do was not fuck it up.
Right.
That's all he had to do. Congratulations. You played yourself. You didn't fuck it up. And you won a Super Bowl. But
last comment from Super Trey Bow. He says, "You know what I heard, and it's embarrassing. The Panthers have the top scoring offense in the NFC South and are still 0-6. Score more than the Falcons, Saints, and Bucks, and are in last place."
yeah, I saw that. We have the most points in our division, but did not have a single win.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Our defense, our division is that bad that we are outscoring everybody, but we have not won one win. And sadly enough, I know it sounds crazy, we can still win our division. Believe that or not, y'all. We're not mathematically, we're not eliminated from winning this division. And if Thomas Brown goes on a run, they're not going to credit the offensive coordinator. They're going to say, what a hell of a coaching job it was by Frank Reich and the staff. Watch.
They're going to piss off the fan base. They're going to really piss off the fan base.
What a great coaching job Frank Reich did. He turned it around. He turned it over to Thomas Brown and his team, found their stride. Because what a great coach he is. No, they're not. You're a moron.
He'll probably say something like, in response to a question like, so, how do you feel that, since Thomas Brown has taken over, y'all have gotten on a run? Like, how would you describe it? Well, I always knew he was very capable. Oh, you always knew. Yet, if that's the case, you would have allowed him to do his job at the beginning, and we probably wouldn't have gone 0-6 for 6 games.
He's a moron.
Just saying. Just.
He's a moron. He's a joke, dude. He's a joke. But with that being said, man, like, fellas, I know we got Sunday off. To all my Panther Nation, y'all rest up. I got hope we come back. We at least gonna put a decent show on the field when we play the Texans. Is hoping. But with that, man, my brother, I appreciate you. My brother Jay, man, he's been a real one since day one. He and I have been collabed for over a year now. I'm proud to call him my friend, and not only my friend, but my brother. He's been teaching me a lot about coming on here. So, man, y'all remember, go to his channel, like, share, subscribe. Again, my channel as well, but tell them where they can find you right there.
So you can find me on YouTube, Blitzball Champ, capital B, capital C, no space. You'll know it's me by the logo, Blitzball Champ Gaming. That's me. You should have checked me out. You can also find me on Facebook as well, Blitzball Champ Gaming, capital B, capital C, capital G, all spaces. And you can also find me on, well, it's called X now, but Twitter, at Blitzball_champ, capital B, capital C. So definitely check me out, check my content. If you like what you see, give me a follow, give me a like, give me a sub.
Man, show my brother some love, man. As for me, you already know you can find me at Bleeding Carolina Blue Show. You can find me on Instagram at Mr. Carolina 4. You can find me on TikTok at Mr. Carolina 2. You can find me on Facebook at Demetrius Mr. Carolina Brown. But again, we're trying to give y'all some of the best content here possible on YouTube. We're going to give you all the love that we can to the Panthers. And just, give y'all something fresh, something new. Shout out to our brother Corey, who wasn't on the stream today. I know it was a late one. Me and my brother Jay just came up with this at the last minute, but shout out to him as well. And tune in to us on Thursday. again, I promise you it's going to be a debate you do not want to miss coming up on Thursday. But with that one, as always, keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
Carolina, Carolina till I die. Like I said, you know me, I bleed Carolina. But I'm your boy, Mr. Carolina. This is my brother and my homeboy,
Blitz Ball Champ.
Y'all be blessed, man, and we up out of here.